Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 96 of the Childcare Genius podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy life to join us today. We got a special guest. But before you do, we want to tell you a little bit about a new podcast series that we are starting. And this is exciting because, we've been we're almost 100 episodes deep into the Childcare Genius podcast, and we love this. Carol and I have had a great time. We've interviewed people all over the world. We've had a lot of guests, and we're getting pretty good at this. We're love interview other people, but in these, we don't really do a whole lot of teaching. We're telling stories. We're learning about successful childcare owners. We're interviewing other people, but we're not giving you a whole lot of concrete teaching stuff. So we decided that we'd like to add a podcast that we're going to release every week, part of the Childcare Genius podcast series. And it'll release every Friday, but it's going to be a different teaching topic every single week. And Carol is not going to be part of this. I'll pull her in once in a while for an episode, but it's going to be different. I'm going to have a different co-host every single week, somebody and part of my team. So it'll all be part of Childcare Genius. Michael and Cindy and Christine and Alyssa and Joy, everybody on my team, we're going to rotate in there. Some more than others, but it's going to be a different teaching topic. Could be financial, could be marketing, could be mindset, could be culture, could be any one of a number of operational or systems related things, something that will teach you something to move your business forward. And we're going to release that every single Friday. It's going to be on YouTube. It's also going to be through your normal podcast provider. And it's going to be short. We're trying to make them under 15 minutes. So they're quick, easy to the point. And then we're going to give you a call to action or some kind of resource in each one where you can get more information and do more, get like resources and tools to help you move your business forward. So we just thought we'd love to give you more free content, what we do here at Childcare Genius. So we thought that would be a nice addition. So look for that starting sometime in June. I'm not sure what week we're going to be starting at, but look for that. And it's just going to be part of the Childcare Genius podcast. So I hope you enjoy that. So today we're interviewing Michael Braswell. Michael is the Vice President of Coaching and Business Development here at Childcare Genius. I've coached Michael for many years, coached his mom for many years before that, and know them really well. Carol and I are great friends with him and his wife, Mandi. And it's an honor to have him on the podcast. So we're going to be interviewing him and talking a little bit about his school, how he got in the childcare business, and what his vision for Childcare Genius coaching will be in the future.
Let's get Michael on the line.
Hey, Michael, welcome to Childcare Genius podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. How are y'all?
Good. Michael's down in San Antonio, Texas, where it gets 100 degrees for like 100 days a year. Has you hit 100 yet, Michael?
It's we had heat advisories this past couple of days, so we've been in the 99, 98. So
Oh my God, this is May, brutal, and this is recording this at the very end of May for airing the first week of June. That's hot. That's hot.
No, all the lawns are already baked. So
really, well, you can keep that, right?
Yeah.
We like that. We don't like the cold, but we definitely don't like the heat. You're kind of limited what you could take off. But when we're cold, we could always put something else on.
I know. Well, you get acclimated to it. There's a lot of new people moving to Texas that are now feeling it brutally for the first time, and so kind of laugh at those.
Yeah, I'll be in Texas next week with you, Michael. So we'll be you could familiarized. We're heading to Houston, so he familiarized me with the Texas heat. So drink a lot of water, I guess. But anyway, we wanted to have you on the podcast today, Michael. You're on the vice president on the Child Care Genius team now, and we wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit. We had you and your wife on several months ago, but I want to just bring you on and talk a little bit about what's going on and maybe give some background on you. So, you grew up in Texas, and then your mom started a child care center when you were about a teenager, late teens, early 20s. How old were you?
I think I had already graduated high school at that time.
Your mom decided, hey, I'm going to start a child care center.
Well, it was kind of,
Sure. How did you get involved?
well, it was a need for, I guess she found a need. And so my mom was a stay-at-home mom all growing up. So she stayed home with us kids. When I was about in junior high, she went back to school, finished her bachelor's, and became a neonatal intensive care nurse. And so she always loved babies. She always loved, that was her, she loved kids and babies. And so she did that, worked for the hospital, opened up a couple nurseries at different hospitals as they were growing out here. And then the bureaucracy of the hospitals just kind of got too much. So she decided she was going to go work as a nurse manager at this pediatric firm. While there, my sister, my middle sister, she was having her first baby. So it was the first of my niece and nephews, and I didn't have any kids yet. And so my mom and my sister drove around all of this area. We're in northern San Antonio, and there wasn't any quality care. And so that was where my sister's an elementary school teacher, and they wanted to stay in this area. And, so my mom came up with a business idea, partnered up with my sister's sorority sister, who was a finance major, and they created Country Kids Academy. So, and then, so for the first year while it was being built, my mom did pretty much a stay home for my nephew, who was already born now. So he was an infant, and this was back in 2003, 2004. And they built the building to suit. We found a builder that built the building to suit. They basically started everything from scratch, and it's been going ever since.
And Carol and I have been in your building, and it's a beautiful building.
Oh, they did a great job. I mean, it's the developer, the first thing that he said when he came out, he only built medical office buildings. But when he built our building for us, he looked at the sea of houses and was like, okay, yeah, this will work. It was just because, there was so much population and boom out here, but there was nothing. There was really no signs of care anywhere. So we ended up getting a prime perfect spot, and we're still there. And in fact, Mandi and I were fortunate enough to buy the building because we had still been leasing since then. And so through your coaching and tutelage, we finally bought the building. So thank you.
You're welcome.
When did you first realize you wanted to be a child care owner?
I really didn't. No, I'm like, if I could go back. No, I'm joking. It's been great. No, I would think that because I was a network engineer. For a long time, hospital administration, and then, that position when I was in leadership got eliminated, and then I got moved into an engineering role. And, I worked in the hospitals, and it was, corporate America hospitals. So it was, pretty much very structured. I think it was during COVID, I had to jump out, and I think maybe about a year before COVID. Now, Brian, that was when my mom reached out to you and first started getting her coaching from you. That's when I jumped in, because my wife Mandi was the director, and and it was just, there were so many things going wrong, and she was going through a business downturn, and so I jumped in to try to help her. Go in, look at her operating spend, see what I could do, and because my mom had the caring, nurturing side, she didn't have the business side, and that's what I find, with a lot of the owners that we talk to. It's natural. They get into the business for the love of it, and then they realize that, wow, this is a tough industry. It's a tough business. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not just watching kids. So I think that's what I loved about it, is I've always been business driven. And when I got in, what I was able to see and then transform and then basically produce, it's just been amazing. And how much we've been able to grow has been crazy. And just in a short amount of time. So that's how I knew I knew after the fact.
It was pretty cool. I coached your mom for a couple of years. I met your wife through that. worked with her a little bit, and remember being introduced to you on a phone call, then meeting you in person at a conference,
Mhm.
and um, and then when we first started Childcare Genius University, the very first person who contacted me and said, "Brian, I want you to coach me," was you. So you were the very first student we enrolled.
Yep.
And why did you decide that our program was a good fit for you?
Because I watched how you coached my mom, even though that she wouldn't take your advice. She was not coachable. I love my mom to death, and even there she was set in her ways, and
Mom, if
she's
you're
loving life.
listening, forgive him for his words. Forgive him,
Yes.
Mom.
Oh, no, no. If she
But
listens to this, she loves her life now. She's a quilter. She loves to quilt, and so she's been doing nothing but just mass producing quilting or quilts for everybody the past couple of years. But when I bought her out, they were able to pay off the house. They were able to do everything else, and it just freed her from everything, because that was watching you coach her and watching some of those coaching sessions. I knew you were very business driven. I knew you were the side that she was lacking, and you knew your stuff. And so it was like, I'm not, like I've told you before, I'm a big believer of I don't know what I don't know. And so, I very much humble myself daily to, make sure, because I learn from everyone, almost in every conversation. And that's what I make my goal is every conversation I try to learn something from somebody. But that was where I knew your style. I knew everything about you. And it was one of those where I was seeking you out. I couldn't find you for a while, and so, and some of in the organization that I was a part of, I just wasn't, it was great. It got me where I was needing to go. It just wasn't everything that I felt that I could get from, I watched those one-on-one sessions with my mom that you did. And that's what I was missing.
Yep. I get you.
Mhm.
Well, I've really enjoyed working with you. We worked for close to a year. I've been to your school, Carol, and I came in site visited. You were one of the high level clients, so we work closely. I think we've done good work in the year that we worked together, and
We
then I
did.
decided I would have you come on our team. We'll talk more about that later. But it's been a joy. You're one of my favorite people. You and Mandi both. I think I like her a little bit more. Just kidding.
Me too.
It's been a pleasure coaching you for sure.
No, oh, I'm sorry. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, honestly, the year that we worked together, it was, because at first, you have the 5-time guarantee, and within that year of us working together, my profits went so high. I think we did almost 11 to 10 times what my initial investment was. So yeah, it was definitely worth it. But I just wanted to say I don't discount how minuscule that was. It was, I mean, honestly, the center's just going gangbusters right now, and it's what we did. Now it's helped me work myself out of a job.
You did the work, so you get all the credit.
Yeah.
Besides that, what are some of the best things you've gotten out of coaching?
Oh, the ability to humble myself to realize I don't know everything. I think that by making myself coachable, I get out of my own head thinking I know everything. I'm just gonna hit the ground running. And for the most part, most of the stuff I do know. However, having a sounding board and being able to run it off of somebody and thinking rationally through things instead of getting caught in the moment of an emergency or getting caught in the moment of a financial crisis or getting caught in the moment of, losing 4 or 5 enrollments in a week because something happened. That's what the power of coaching is having somebody with a sound mind that can help you think clearly, and just bring you back to the things you already know. I mean, for the most part, almost every business owner knows exactly what they need to do. It's just, there's a lot of stuff we don't want to do. And there's a lot of stuff that it may not be our unique brilliance. It's not something that we're great at. Like with me, anything that I'm not great at, I tend to procrastinate. And I know that about myself. And that's where sometimes having a coach and accountability partner that kind of kicks you in the butt from time to time is needed.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Again, as I say, coaching is for everybody, but our program might not be for everybody. Like everybody should have a coach. We said there's so many great coaching programs out there. And we don't put anybody else down. There's a fit for everybody, but everybody should have a level of some kind of coach. The best athletes in the world have coaches. to make them better. And that's what we do. We make it better. We help fill the gap, I guess. So now I hired you on our team several months ago. I was like, you know what? This guy is amazing. He has a great heart. He has bandwidth. Um, because he's done so well at his own school, he's getting kind of bored because his school runs on autopilot. He doesn't have to fix those problems that he used to have to fix. I knew you had some bandwidth. And I think you said you have the same passion for helping people that I do. So we're a lot alike. We're like brothers in a lot of respects. And so now you're the vice president of coaching business development. So what do you see as your vision of how our Child Care Genius University will positively impact center owners in the years to come?
I think it's the fact that we truly care. We give ourselves. I mean, ultimately, I get on coaching calls and they may be booked for half an hour and they go into an hour and a half. I mean, it's just because there's so much that I've seen being able to help people. And that was my thing, to where I did the corporate America thing. I did the sales thing. I went through and made money, and it was, which got us to the place where we were able to buy the center and get us to where we are today. But I realized that I'm not money driven. I'm money driven to an extent like everybody else, but it's not what drives me. And so I think that as the center kept growing and financially doing better and better, I found myself not having much to do and getting very complacent. And then you saw that and you basically gave me more of a purpose. And that's where the coaching for me has been a purpose. And it's been honestly very life-changing and transformative, because everything that I did when I went to go get my Maxwell certification, just feeling and listening to other people about how leadership is about pouring yourself into others. And that's when I came to the realization of, success versus significance. I would rather have significance in people's lives than just running and running and running for my own success. I've done that. It didn't get me anywhere. It got me, comfortable, but it got me to a place to where I realized life is more about than just making money and just reaching that success, because you can never reach that pinnacle of success. You're always wanting more and more and more and more and more. Whereas significance, I can do that every day with my kids, friends, other business owners, wherever I can lend myself is how I view life now. And it's a much better way to live, honestly.
And then Michael and I talk about every day or so. And at the end of each day, after a bunch of calls, they're exhausting, talking to 4 or 5 people. But when you go to bed with your head on your pillow, you feel like you really made a difference in the world. And there's nothing better than helping other people in this line of work, because so many childcare owners are struggling right now.
Yes.
And mentally, physically, it's I've never seen more owners struggling than I have now. We got through COVID on adrenaline, I think, and now we're exhausted. And I think our coaching is really making a difference. Our team is really helping a lot of people out there, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. And one thing that you said that I remember from when Brian was a coach before we started this is you said, sometimes I have a 45-minute call booked and it goes an hour or so. And he used to get so frustrated because he'd be like, I have to stop in 45 minutes and I'm not allowed to go longer. And now even if he has another call booked, he'll say, I have another call coming up, but I'll get back to you. And we'll continue to discuss this, because sometimes people need a little bit more time.
Yep. Yeah. We have clients that hardly need calls at all. We have some that need a lot of extra attention. And that's how life is. There's no cookie cutter approach to how we help people. It's we meet people at their needs, not where our needs are. Where their need, let's go ahead and fill that need. I think it's probably why we're different. Thanks for bringing that up, Joe.
And you and Mandi attended our leverage conference in Jamaica last year.
We
as
did.
a client.
Yeah.
And this year you were at
Tuesday MC this year.
Yes.
And Vegas conference.
At Vegas, and you were a speaker at the conference. And I know you've been to a lot of conferences. And what makes our conferences different at Child Care Genius?
Well, I can say now that, I'm up on stage and presenting me, no, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. No, I'm not that conceited. So I say the difference is you can feel real. And that what I mean by that is that like every coach, every speaker, everything has been a personal experience, and we're literally pouring our pieces of ourselves out to everybody. And that's what I mean, that's what makes us different. I mean, because it's truly we care about how everybody's doing and where they're at. We may not be able to help everyone, but we're giving it our heart and we're giving it our all to try. And so I think that's at the end of the day the most important. It's just being genuine and real with people, and that's what they see and that's what they feel. I mean, that's the difference between our conferences and everybody else's. I mean, the other conferences they get, and I've been to everything from, I didn't do the Grant Cardone one, or not say names or anything, but I didn't do that one, but I did, I've done like the Dave Ramsey ones, the Entree Leaderships, and a whole bunch of other ones, and they are good, but I would narrow it down to this: the content that we give is easily consumable. The time frames that we do aren't, at a breakneck speed to where you're just tired from the whole day of just, getting all of this information. So I like the fact that we cut off a little bit early. That way we have, as a member, we had time to consume the data, talk about it, right after the sessions. So we didn't have to, go until 6 at night, and then we're like, okay, let's get dinner and, get to bed because we got to get back up at 8 a.m. the next morning and do it. You have time to network with the other owners. You have time to consume the data. I mean, of the conferences, I don't understand why most people just didn't get that, is that the majority of the members want to network with the others, and they want to have time to consume the information that they've got. And that's where I think we're unique in our format of how we do things.
And also, we really take to heart when we get the all the feedback at the end. And if
Yes.
something needs to be changed, we change it.
Yep.
Feelings don't get hurt.
We want that honest feedback.
We want what's best for everybody that's attending.
Yeah, we just got back from Vegas and got some version. I saw a bunch of different things. We could do that better next year. We're going to change that. We're going to do that better next year. We're going to change it. We're on every year. It's going to be a different experiences based on what the customers tell us.
Exactly. But that's the beauty of it is, when you've got somebody at the wheel that's driving it that cares, that's what's awesome about it, because we can make those changes. And not to bring up, the life of, kind of bringing back my mom, when you get certain organizations that are stuck in their ways, they tend to not grow. Like, her mentality was kind of just, old school. She'd been in the business a long time, and it was like, I'm not going to let a teacher tell me how to run my business, or I'm not going to let a parent tell me how to run my business. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, we're a customer service industry. And so you kind of have to, a little bit, but yeah. And that's why I love our organization, because we can bend and flex however we need to take care of everybody.
Yeah. But God bless your mom for delivering a great school, great product. Oh, yeah. And you had a lot of faithful kids on her. She did an amazing job.
She did.
And there's thousands of people just like your mom out there. They're just such loving, caring people who are very heart-centered, that just don't have the business side, which we can help fill that gap. That's what we do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have that heart-centered dirtiness. Carol has it. I don't have it. I'm the more logical business side of it. Michael, you're with me on that. But thank goodness we're married to amazing women who are heart-centered, that have the compassion for that.
And thank goodness we have other coaches in our program that are that side, because
that make up for it. Exactly.
Because like you said, we have coaches that, will fit every need, whether it be building out an early childhood education program, versus, I don't have that expertise. That's why we have our coaches for that. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
It's funny. I have zero patience when it comes to watching children. I don't know how teachers do it all day. I just wasn't given that gift. But I have patience enough to work with a childcare owner that's struggling and take as long. It's a weird dynamic that I could work with them very patiently. It's just I just can't. My own
grandkids are different.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, and I'm just I guess I'm thankful that I didn't get that gift. I kind of like the business side better, but not that I don't love children. I love making a difference.
I
But
go,
teachers are something special.
I know. I go into the center and I'm in awe, just like, and like we talk about ratios and the different ratios across the country and Texas ratios versus Maine ratios. And I remember that look on y'all's face when you walked into our 2-year-old room and there were 22 2-year-olds and 2 teachers.
Yes.
And they were sitting there at the table.
Yeah,
they were engaged.
So
and you were like, how do y'all
in my classroom of 10 with 2 teachers? And the good thing is I went to the teachers and say, listen, at least y'all aren't in Texas.
Yeah.
Don't complain about your 10 kids when you could be in Texas with 22.
Yeah. But we don't know any different down here. So
you don't know any different.
It's nice when we have teachers that move into the area from like Florida and Texas. They're like, what? I only have to watch 5
Yes,
kids.
I know.
They're on cruise control. It's like...
control. Exactly. All right. So wrap it up, Michael. So in our intro today, we told people that we're adding a new podcast series in. And I'm going to have you as one of my co-hosts on this. And what we're going to do in this podcast is it's going to be part of the Child Care Genius podcast, but we're going to teach a different topic every single week. Like we don't do a lot of teaching on our podcast right now. It's mostly interviews and feel good stories and not a lot of substantive teaching. It's a lot of like, hey, if we could do it, you could do it. And here's some success stories, which are of course very important. But we want to do some teaching. So you and I are going to be teaching some financial topics, maybe some marketing topics. And are you excited to be helping owners in this capacity?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, that's why I wake up every morning. And and like I said, our members, yes, we have the one-on-one coaching, but I can't tell you how many text me on either a daily or, a weekly basis and say, little things here and there. I mean, we keep in contact, but I mean, it's those connections are what keeps me going. So yeah, I would love to keep that going.
So how it's going to work is Carol's not going to be with me on that podcast. It's going to be me and different co-hosts. Maybe I'll pop her in once in a while, but it's going to be me and different podcast hosts inside our team.
Okay.
So I'm going to be the common link and I'm going to different people. Probably most of them will be you. Michael and I would do a lot, but I'll have an occasional guest host with other people on my team as well. But we'll have nobody outside of our Child Care Genius faculty to be doing that. And we're going to be teaching different topics. And they're going to be short too. Podcasts will be under 15 minutes, very quick. We're going to go right to the point, no fluff, and we're going to be teaching different topics. You want to learn how to calculate your money in your competitors' pockets. You want to know how to do an FTE conversion. We'll talk about marketing. We talk about mindset. We talk about financials, profit and loss statements, what your income should be. So we're going to hit different topics, and we're going to do a little bit of teaching every single week. So they should be out every single Friday. And they're going to be starting real soon if they haven't started already. So how exciting. New changes. I love adding content in.
Yeah, very cool.
Anything you want to add to leave with the audience? You got about 3 million people listening right now. You got anything to say?
No, I just like what you said earlier. It's like, regardless of this program, some programs, just like we say for our childcare owners, your program may not be what's right for every family. Maybe they want another program. That's fine. We're the same way in our organization. Maybe our program isn't the best for everybody, but there are people that do get substantial help and we do provide an enormous benefit. So what I would say is, whether you're doing anything or not with us, find a coach, because basically a coach is nothing more than someone that helps you get yourself out of your own head, so you can actually sit down and be held accountable and put together plans. I mean, I've gone further in the past 2 years of coaching than I had in 20 years of corporate America. And so that's where it's amazing what you can do when you have that sounding board. And the sky's the limit. So that's all I have to say, is that, like you said, find a coach, whether it be with us, with someone else, but just make sure you have somebody that helps hold you accountable.
Love that 100%. And we'll guarantee a 5 times return on your money, so you have nothing to lose.
Well,
yeah, I love that too. Well, anyway, thanks, Michael. We'll look forward to being with you next week. Michael and I are going to be together doing some site visits for clients next week. We're going to be flying around the country and hanging out for a week. Looking forward to it. Maybe hit a karaoke bar. Michael's an amazing singer, so I want to hear you sing. You won't want to hear me sing.
I wouldn't say amazing. I love to sing. I wouldn't say amazing.
I think
but
you're a great
it's
singer.
the
I saw you
love.
bust a move in Jamaica, and I think you're amazing.
I appreciate
Literally busting a move.
that. Yeah, I can't dance.
No, we don't want to dance, but you definitely have a gift of singing. So can't wait to hear you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Well, see you soon, and thanks again for coming on the Child Care Genius podcast.
All right. See you guys.
That was a good interview.
That was really good.
I like Michael. He's just so down to earth and
Yeah.
no fluff. He's straight to the point.
Very knowledgeable too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good business head on his shoulders and
Yeah.
really, really good interview. If you like what we talked about here today on the call and you say, you know what, I think I need a coach. Well, you may or may not be somebody that we can help. Well, let's get on a call and talk about it. There might be some area in your business that you're really struggling with, whether it be finances, culture, operations, systems, mindset, marketing, whatever it is, get on a call with me. And I offer a free coaching call to anybody who owns a childcare center. You got to be a center owner. And if you go to childcaregenius.com, go to the coaching tab, say, I'd like a free coaching call. And then you can get on my calendar and we could talk a little bit about this and see if coaching is right for you, whether it's through us or another organization out there. There's plenty of great coaching businesses out there. And we'll help you find that right fit where that is. And this concludes episode 96 of the Child Care Genius podcast. Thank you again so much. We're very humbled that you take your time out to listen to us.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.